Aye, and no one knows what tomorrow will bring. Good night then, Henry. But enough of all that. I'd like to think about something else. I'll come and see you when you go to bed. Not today. I'm exhausted. Don't you think you've done enough already? I would. But only because there'd be nobody to help me with the others. At least this day will have a happier ending. Actually, not really. The only thing I want is to finally go and lie down. If you like, there's a free bed in the cabin. If you don't think about who's lying in front of you, you can focus better on what you need to do. Believe me, not even a few kegs would be enough. Not today. You're right. Who knows what tomorrow will bring, and I'm not made of stone. It sounds good. But if the men saw me tipsy, I'd never hear the end of it. Can we talk about something else? No. That is, not anymore. You can't let it get to you. Neither the good or the bad. No. You should go and lie down. The best thing we can do is go to sleep. Work like this is never finished. But you have to know when enough is enough. Otherwise it'll drive you mad. I don't rightly know. I'm dead tired. If he had beaten you, you'd be long since dead. The wind blows through the gaps. But if you don't mind a bit of a squeeze, we'll be warm this evening. Definitely. Unless you were to carry me on your back. You want to get me drunk to loosen me up. I really need to rest and to forget about everything for a while. I'd really prefer to not talk about all this death, at least for today. I'm cold too, but at least I don't have to worry about any bad dreams. Something like that, since I'll be sleeping next to a knight. I'm awfully tired, but don't get too excited. As soon as I lie down, I'll sleep the sleep of the... Could you find some room there for me? Not a chance, you idiots! Don't you understand? I have to see how they're doing first. What if they bleed to death? But they won't be any good to Zhishka if they're dead, you numbskulls. Are you completely stupid? Let me see them. They're injured, just like our men. Absolutely not. My potions were good enough when your teeth hurt, though, eh, Jakey? I've been told not to treat those wounded prisoners in the cellar. And thanks for your help. Maybe I'll tell you some stories in return. And in the time we had left, we could have stayed a while here. Still, now you're here, you can help me with those herbs. Then maybe we'll find a moment. Go and play dice or whatever. You'll know soon enough. Now listen. I need marigold, a lot of it ideally. Then poppy and some sage. It was lovely. But now I have to tend to the wounded. I can't wait for you forever. Oh, aye, your lord and your mission. Thanks, but I think I can manage by myself. Thanks. So, that's the herbs sorted out. I've got nothing more to say to you. Thanks for the herbs. And the rest. All right. Hey, Henry, you haven't forgotten about me, have you? I've got enough chamomile. It's the rest I need. Above all, the marigold. I'll scream, otherwise you'll end up under lock and key like the others. And maybe I will too. It all grows in the glade here, but sometimes it takes a while to find. And if his lordship found out I was dawdling, he'd have my guts for garters. Solve this riddle. Unlock the joy. Aye, exactly right. Thank you. I'll wait here. Maybe some other time, idiot! I have to gather herbs to treat the wounded. When the ointments and concoctions run out, they reach for the liquor. No, please, I will, don't worry. But first I want to show you something. Leave me alone. If it was up to me, I'd just lie down in the grass and take it easy. But I can't. Really? Come here. I'll whisper it to you. I wanted to give you a riddle. My word! You really are always prepared, aren't you? Hurry! I don't know what you've sniffed out here, but my advice is to forget about it. Slowly but surely. That's your motto, is it? Sunflowers? Why, for God's sake? Just go and get your lord and get out of here. And now let me go! It all grows in the glade here, but sometimes it takes a while to find. Can't you see I've got work to do? That's not very chivalrous of you. Your help could save me a lot of time. The right answer. And now for your reward. This really is a lovely spot. Come on, then. It's just a stone's throw. You'll see. Back to your master. Now. Farewell for now, Henry. Really? So tell me how to treat fever. say, or shortness of breath. Since you know all about it, you'll be back in a jiffy, won't you? You wouldn't hurt me, would you? No, more like a wasp. Are you really his squire? You're more like his little doggy, if you ask me. You really are a buffoon. You'd do better to listen. I thought you'd never catch on. Or that maybe you didn't fancy me. Shush now. I'd love to give you more of my time, but I have to prepare the herbs as soon as possible. A whispered scent, a subtle ploy. What am I, elusive and coy? I bloom in silence, a petal's grace, a delicate charm in a hidden place. Not at all. He's a good master, but strict, I can't lie. Get away from me, you pig! Wonderful. Thanks a lot. You've really helped me out. He should also drink a lot of water. Chamomile is good too. And a marigold decoction should help for the fever. Certainly. A good strong broth would be best, or a potion that will bring his strength back. If the patient is dozing off and spouting nonsense, he's fine. He just took a solid blow to the head. God, Henry, what is it? What would you like to know? A game? All right then. Aye. A bandage will stop the bleeding, but you should first make sure there isn't a fracture. Wash it with water and gently daub it with marigold ointment. Then just lightly dress it and give the patient some chamomile to calm his nerves. But if he's also thirsty, then God help him. That means he's bleeding internally, and there's nothing we can do for him. Look over the man thoroughly. The fever could be caused by gangrene in a wound. That needs to be cleaned and cauterized. But be careful with head injuries and internal bleeding. Eating and drinking will only make it worse. You just have to make sure he doesn't fall asleep and put a cold compress on his forehead. That's not hard. Always clean the wound first and then lightly bind it with a bandage. I'm sorry, but I still have work to do and I've already told you everything. Just do the best you can, or if you're unsure, leave it be, and I'll get to them later myself. Christ, I hope you're right, and they'll live to see the morning. Thanks, Henry. I'll go and have a look at the wounded later. I've got what I need. This was left over. What do you mean you tried? Now you should take care of yourself. Here, this might come in handy. Great. The rest is in God's hands. There's nothing more we can do. And I simply had a certain advantage. That's rotten luck. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to help you. And when I heard what they were planning to do to you in that ravine, I wept for you, and you ate it all up willingly. If you want to scold anyone, you can start with yourself. Now, don't look at me like that. We needed to distract you somehow so you wouldn't go sniffing around. But now I really have to look after the wounded. I hope there'll be more time later. Sleep well. Lord knows you need it. And take care of yourself. I've got to get going. The wounded need my help. There are a lot of injured here that probably won't survive the night without help. I hope you can do something for them. But it's true, I have more work than I can handle. I'll take any help I can get. You'll find medicine and bandages in the chest in my cabin. Mark and poor old Zwerg. Mark, Zwerg, and that poor Kozlik. Maybe just for that idiot bit. Like what? Can you even do anything other than wave that stupid piece of steel around? No, you idiot! I liked you. I don't want for us to end up as complete strangers. I'm not angry, but I'm not going to apologize to you for it either. What are you talking about? I reckon you don't know much about healing, do you? All right then. I'll go and prepare some more medicine and make a round visiting the injured. In the meantime, you go to the lower castle. There are more men there who need to be treated. In that case, thank God you're here. You weren't interested in those wounded prisoners, and now you want to help me. And just so you know, when I found out what they were planning to do in the ravine, I prayed for you to survive. It's not like I had much of a choice. I wasn't going to let them suffer. And was it worth it? And you know what? I'm glad. The men were betting on whether Zizka would execute you himself or only have you hanged. And it worked perfectly. You should be more mad at yourself for falling for it so easily. But our people will think you're a traitor. You can't do that. They're people too. Does it matter? You're alive and well, and now one of us, at least a little. Thanks for saying so. I'll see what I can do. That older one is at death's door. Thanks for sticking up for those prisoners, Henry. They're in rough shape. Thanks a bloody lot. Thanks for sticking up for those prisoners. Those poor souls are in rough shape. I hope it won't be too late, even though I knew a lot of our men would die there. And now I have to fix all the damage. And I simply had a certain advantage. How else could it have ended when you fought each other with weapons? One of them is bleeding. If he doesn't get some help, he'll soon be with the Lord, if you don't do more harm than good. Aye, that's him. He took a good thrashing, and these two won't let me treat him. Damn it all. That fight could have ended up a lot worse. Sorry, but I have too much work to do. We can talk later. I thought you knew those prisoners. How can you be so heartless? I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Thanks. Really? You mean if I change the bandages regularly? Don't look at me like that. We all did everything we could to keep you from sniffing around. Besides, didn't you just say you'd help me with the wounded? Pashko's a real bruiser. How bad did he beat you? Aye, bloody men. You and your endless stubbornness. Pfft, flattery will get you nowhere. A treasure smeared with blood that smells of bile, and even worse things. They brought in 2 noblemen who survived the massacre. They call one of them Littlehead. Why did you get mixed up with us when you didn't even stand up for me? Can you explain to me why you stuck your nose into this when you didn't do anything anyway? Sorry, I'd love to chat, but I have a line of patients waiting for treatment. Excuse me? I understand. Great, just who I was looking for. How's our captain doing? I hope so. He'd lose it otherwise. So you were more worried about me than the prisoners, were you? How would I know? I'm no priest, just an ordinary girl who knows a bit about herbs and can use a needle and thread. Calm down, Jakey. You were in the same boat not long ago, and where would you be without any help? Gratitude has many forms. You men, can't you resolve anything without resorting to violence?